Throughout the history of football, there has always been dominant teams that stood out from the rest and wrote their names in history books. But one of these teams seems to never get talked about. This team that no one seems to know about is the Arizona Rattlers. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about their history, their achievements, and their shortcomings. The Rattlers franchise would be announced September 11th, 1991, and the owner would be Joey Colangelo. That's probably not how you say his last name, but it's whatever. Just a month later, former NFL quarterback Danny White will be announced as the team's first ever head coach. 1992 was the Rattlers' first ever season, and it wasn't too great of a first impression as the Rattlers went 4-6. Things would immediately turn around their second season as they went 7-5 and made the playoffs, where they won their first game but lost their second. Arizona's wide receiver Hunky Cooper would win MVP, Danny White will win Head Coach of the Year, and 6 of their players would make the All-Star game. In the 1994 season, the Arizona Rattlers rose to the top and managed to win the AFL Championship with a record of 8-4. The Rattlers would have to wait 3 seasons until they were crowned champions again in 1997 with a record of 12-2. The next 4 seasons were bittersweet for the Arizona Rattlers as they went 40-16, but they lost in the semifinals 3 out of those 4 seasons, and in the one they didn't lose in the semifinals, they lost in the quarterfinal. The Rattlers were just 2 small steps away from being champions once again. The Rattlers took one of these steps and decided instead of losing in the semifinals, they were just going to lose in the championships, as from 2002 to 2004, they lost 3 straight AFL championship games. After their 3rd straight championship loss, the team would be sold to Robert Sarver. This offseason, head coach Danny White's contract was expiring. And because of his shortcomings the last 3 seasons, the new ownership did not want to re-sign him. Instead, they decided to test their luck with another former NFL player. Todd Shell was a former first-round pick and spent 4 years in the NFL with the San Francisco 49ers as a linebacker. Todd Shell already had AFL head coaching experience, as from 1995 to 1998 he was the head coach of the SaberCats and had a record of 29 wins and 25 losses. He was also the head coach of the New York Dragons from 2003 to 2004, and in the 2003 season, he won AFL Coach of the Year. Unfortunately for the Rattlers, this decision would backfire as they went 7-9 and missed the playoffs for just the 2nd time in 13 years. Former AFL executive and high school football coach Gene Nuno will become the Rattlers' next head coach. In 2006, the Rattlers saw a record of 8-8, which was good enough to make the playoffs, but in the next season, the record of 4-12 was not. This would begin the Rattlers' search for their 3rd head coach in just 4 years. The Rattlers' search will bring them to Kevin Guy, the defensive coordinator of the SaberCats, who had just won the AFL championship. Kevin Guy was a former AFL player from 1996 to 1999 with 3 different teams. Kevin also had 7 years of experience coaching in the AFL as either a head coach or defensive coordinator. Kevin Guy's first season with the Arizona Rattlers was very mediocre as they went 8-8, but they did make the playoffs. In 2009, the AFL suspended operations and no football would be played. In the 2010 season, the Arizona Rattlers will once again become elite as they went 10-6. This would be their first double-digit win season since 2004. From 2011 to 2014, the Arizona Rattlers were nearly unstoppable as they had a regular season record of 59 wins and 13 losses. The Rattlers would make the AFL championship game all 4 of these years and win 3 of them, in which the one they lost was 2011. The Rattlers had a very successful 2015 season after they went 14-4, but they failed to make the AFL championship game after a 70-67 loss in the conference championship game. In 2016, the Rattlers would have returned to the Arena Bowl after a 13-3 season, but they failed to win the championship game. 2016 would be the Rattlers' last season in the Arena Football League after it proved to be unstable. The Rattlers felt it would be a much better financial choice to change leagues. The Rattlers would make their move to the Indoor Football League for their 2017 season. They would take over the IFL in their first ever season with a record of 13-3 and winning the championship game. The Rattlers would be the most dominant team over the next 2 seasons, going 25-3 and making the championship game in 2019. But the Rattlers will fall to the Storm 56-53. Overall, the Arizona Rattlers have played 27 seasons of football, made the playoffs 24 times, made it to the championship game 12 times, and have won it 6 times. If you count regular season and postseason, the Rattlers have an all-time record of 319 wins and 143 losses. 6 members of the Arizona Rattlers have been inducted into the AFL Hall of Fame. These people are Cedric Booner, Hunky Cooper, Randy Gatewood, Bob McMillan, Gene Nuno, and Danny White. The Rattlers have been a fantastic franchise throughout history, and that doesn't seem like it would change anytime soon.